The Zohar says on Parashat Kedoshim, it says, וידבר השם אל משה לאמור, דבר על כל עדת בני ישראל ואמרת עליהם, קדושים תהיו כקדוש אני, השם אלוקיכם, because I am God, I am your God, I'm holy, therefore you are holy, and so on and so forth. Rabbi Eliezer says, אל תהיו כסוס כפרת. It says, don't be like a horse or like a mule. What does it mean? How many times the Zohar says, claim the Torah and testify on people, on us, or warn us? How many times the Torah had yelled all over to awaken the people up, to try to make them change their lives? And everybody is yet sleeping with their sins. They're not looking. They're not examining in what kind of a figure and what kind of shape they would wake up or they would face the great day of judgment. In other words, you're not worried about God. Don't tell me that you're a God-fearing person when you don't worry about God. What have you done? What have you done in your life that could serve as a proof that you are really concerned about the day that you're going to meet God and He's going to ask you, yo buddy, what have you done with yourself? You will live your life like there's no tomorrow. You don't really care about God. You don't care about those things. And you call yourself a God-fearing person? That's called Naval Birshut Torah, a person who keeps the Torah externally, but internally he's a rotten person. He does it because he doesn't want people to look at him. He doesn't want, he was born. That's not the way to go. When they say, when the Zohar tells us about listening to your father and so on, and your mother and so on and so forth, and becoming holy. Becoming holy is the nefesh. Listening to your father and mother is the body. In other words, because they teach you Torah, listen to your father and mother. It's not just saying, yes mom, no dad, yes mom, yes dad. No. Listen to your father and mother is what your parents should have taught you, and we spoke about it yesterday. Since the parents are the one who teach you Torah, or supposedly give you the derech, give you the way in which you should live. So you should listen to what they tell you and don't do what you want. But then there is your own mutual responsibility, which you care about. You should care about yourself, and that's to become holy. Not only keeping the Torah and the mitzvot, but keeping it in a certain way that is going to be holy, dedicated to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. When your actions are dedicated to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, then you become Kadosh, because that is the meaning, or one of the meaning of Kadosh, dedicated. I'm sanctifying it for that. I'm dedicating it for it. That's why when we take a lamb or any kind of offering and we dedicate it for the sake of offering, it becomes Hekdesh, dedicated. Do I dedicate my life to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? If I haven't dedicated my life to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I am not holy. If I don't dedicate the Siyat HaMitzvot to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and because He said for me to do it, I am not holy. I'm external. I'm a body without a soul, at best. That's what the Zohar is saying. And he says, and when the king is going to come and he's going to demand and he's going to ask him about the disgrace that the Torah, or how they disgraced the Torah, which was yelling against them. They left me. Every day the Midrash tells us, every day there is a heavenly voice that says, from Har Sinai, come back to me, don't leave me. והתורה מונחת לה כאבן שאין לה הופכין. Like the Torah is left there like a useless stone, like a useless brick. Build with it. But you don't. You're running out to work. You want to make money. You work most of your life for your things for your desires, instead of your life. You're wasting your time. You're wasting your effort. You're wasting your life. You're wasting your neshama. What are you going to say to the Torah? Torah says, listen, why did you leave me? So I'm sorry, I had to go, get a job. If the Torah is the daughter of the king, and you were married to the daughter of the king, to the princess, the real princess, and now the king summons you to his office, to his palace, He says, listen, get over here. This is my daughter. I don't hear complaints. You left her. You don't talk to her. You don't take care of her. You don't care about her. My daughter, she's crying. Look at her. Every day she's crying. I hear her. And what are you going to tell her? The king says. And you're going to say, listen, my dear wife, I had to go get Parnasa, what can I do? And the king will say to you, you fool, a son of a fool. I am the king. Everything I have is yours. And everything I have is yours for you to take care of my daughter. And you tell me that you had to go to work? You had to do what needed to do. What I asked you to do is take care of my daughter. What are you going to say? What are you going to say? I had an emergency. I'm sorry. What an emergency? Bet HaMikdash is burning. What do you do? What emergency? You have to save somebody's life. Okay, if you had to save somebody's life, Nicha, I hear you. It's my daughter you're talking about. What are you going to say? That's what the Zohar is saying. And he goes like this, Oy lahem, Oy lahem. It's a wow to them. And he says, when the Torah will yell against you, you can't even look at her because you were blemished in everything because they don't know what is so-called the emunah, the belief in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So therefore, the reason why you left Torah is because your emunah is blemished. You don't believe that God will help you. You don't believe. You think the king is bankrupt. It says, and here comes the Torah, it says, Oy lahem ve'oy lanafshotehem. Oh my goodness, what's going to happen to them and to their souls? Because the Torah will come and it's going to say, Peti, yasu hena, chaser lev, you fool. Peti is a fool who believes to everybody. Get over here. Chaser lev, heartless. And what is a heartless? What does it mean heartless? Ma'u chasar lev, the Zohar says, is a person who doesn't have emunah. Why? Ki mi she'eino osek b'Torah. Osek is a business. The Torah is your business. You think you're such a good businessman and you're doing God a favor that you dedicated one lousy hour of your lousy day to learn. One lousy hour. What, your day is so important? What have you done in your day that is so darn important? 1 hour you gave, and you're doing a favor. In that lousy hour, you take telephones, you answer calls, your wife calls, your mother calls, your mistress calls, I don't know who calls. Oh, I got to take this one, Rabbi. You sleep. You did a whole activity of a day in 1 hour. But to learn, you didn't learn. If that was your business, would you do it? Are you in the middle of a business deal? You're going to tell your client, excuse me, I got to take this one. No, it's a business deal. If I'm going to put a gun to your head, would you take a call? Well, you see your life we're talking about here. It's a person chasar emunah, you don't have emunah. You go, you do all these things, you're bound in the Torah because you don't have emunah. I don't care how much your wife is yelling. Sit down and explain to her, honey, I'm doing this for you. And if she tells you, no, don't go to learn, because I want a better car and this, I say, excuse me, here's your get, goodbye. It's not a person worthy to live in. And you as well, you should know, you're not a person worthy to live with if you don't make your Torah your number one priority. You think about that. Comes the Zohar, it says, a person like this who pagum bakol, he's blemished in all. And he said, I should have said to him, Omra le'el sili, ma'u omra, what does it mean? Ela sheba lichlol u'le'osif ha'torah shelemala, not only the Torah here, also the Torah is on top, that is also calling it chasar lev. Not only in here, the word, you'll be also over there. You pogem ba'emunah, you blemishing your emunah. Because this is what we learn called Mi she'eino osek b'Torah, Anybody who is not making his first priority to learn Torah, pay attention what the Zohar is saying to you. It's horrific. Asur להתקרב אצלו. You can't be close to him. אסור להשתתף עמו ולעשות עמו מסחר. You should not do business with him. You should not go partners with him. וכל שכן ללכת עמו בדרך. And even more so to walk with him in the street or to go trips with him. כי אין בו אמונה. He doesn't have אמונה. A person like this saying, go away from. ועל זה, and for that we learn, any person that works בדרך ואין עמו דברי תורה הוא מתחייב בנפשו. That's what Chazal tells us. If two people walking in a way, they have to speak דברי תורה. But it doesn't say that. אם אדם הולך בדרך, a person walks ואין עמו דברי תורה. In other words, the person that is walking with you, he is the words of Torah. If you have a person who is empty, you're putting your life in danger because who knows what he's going to persuade you to do. And therefore, even more so, not only walking, even more so, a person who connects himself to people who don't have emunah, because he's not machshiv, he's not considered to be important enough, the honor of his master. Even more so, you're putting your life in danger. So Rabbi Elazar said, I'm wondering on this generation. And he already said before, don't be like a mule or a horse who do not understand. Don't be like that. Don't be like a beast. Why? Kohelet said that. What's the difference between man and beast? There's no difference between man and beast. The end is Sof davar hakol nishma. At the end, the bottom line, hakol nishma. It's all known. Et Elohim yareh. You should fear, have emunah. Bet mitzvotav shemor, ki zeu kol ha'adam. Et Elohim yareh. So therefore, you have to have first yirat shamayim. In order to have yirat shamayim, you have to have emunah. And only then you can keep the mitzvot. Don't tell me you keep mitzvot without emunah. Keeping mitzvot without emunah is nothing. It's nothing. There's no difference. He said, don't be like a horse or a donkey. Have yirat shamayim. Have fear. Have emunah. The HaKadosh Baruch Hu will help you. It says, Asherem HaTzadikim. Lucky are those righteous people who learn and deal Torah and they know the ways of HaKadosh Baruch Hu and sanctifying themselves in the holiness of the King. And therefore you'll find it to be Kedoshim Bakol. They will be holy in everything. And because of that, they bring they're able to draw, to pull down the spirit of holiness from above, and their children and their great children, kulam tzadikei emet, the old tzadikim of the truth, right? For tzadikim, not those who people think they're tzadikim, like those big rabbis, right? There are certain rabbis. I don't want to mention names. I'm sure everybody knows. And he's a big rabbi, Mekubal, Gdolei Olam, all the great presidents, and what all of a sudden sitting in jail because they betrayed their money, that they stole, they embezzled, and so on and so forth. There's tzaddikim ele, they're Rashayim, should whip them. There's Naval Birshut Torah. Pretends that he's a tzaddik, and then he goes to jail. This chief rabbi, the other chief rabbi, 3.5 years in jail. Why? Embezzlement of money. That's not a tzaddik. That's a parrot. It's a mule. But not like this a tzaddik emet. The driven power of a truthful tzaddik is his closeness to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and his desire to serve him. So it says, "V'nikraim bnei HaMelech," and the people like this are considered to be the sons of the king, banim kedoshim, holy sons, holy children. Have a Shabbat Shalom.